He doesn't live here, the white woman screamed into her phone. Send the police now. Dr. Julian Webb stood at his own front door, keys in hand, groceries at his feet. Ma'am, this is my house. Liar! I've lived here for 3 years. I know everyone in this building. The sirens were already approaching. Julian sighed. He'd dealt with this before, but this time, this Karen had no idea who she was messing with. And when the cops arrived, what happened next was so satisfying, it broke the internet. Hit subscribe right now. You're gonna want to see how this ends. Trust me. His name was Dr. Julian Webb, 36 years old, cardiothoracic surgeon at Mercy General Hospital, Harvard Medical School graduate, the kind of doctor who'd performed over 500 open-heart surgeries and saved countless lives. But right now, he was just a black man standing outside a luxury apartment building in Georgetown, trying to get into his own home. Julian had just finished a brutal 16-hour shift, double bypass, touch and go, but the patient made it. He always made sure they made it. All he wanted was to collapse on his couch, heat up some leftovers, and watch SportsCenter. He pulled into the underground garage of the Wellington, the upscale building he'd called home for 8 months, grabbed his groceries, took the elevator up to the lobby entrance. That's when he saw her. Karen Michelle Patterson, 52, real estate agent, resident of the Wellington for 3 years, president of the building's Neighborhood Watch, which was really just code for harassing anyone she deemed suspicious. She was standing in the lobby, designer purse clutched to her chest, staring at Julian through the glass doors like he was wielding a weapon instead of a bag of groceries. Julian swiped his key fob. Beep! The door unlocked. He pushed it open. Excuse me! Karen's voice cut through the lobby like a knife. Where do you think you're going? Julian stopped, exhausted. I'm going home? You don't live here. He blinked. Yes, I do. Unit 4B. No. Karen stepped forward, blocking his path. I know everyone in this building. I've never seen you before. Julian felt the familiar weight settle in his chest, the weight every black professional knew too well. I moved in 8 months ago. I'm Dr. Webb. I work at Mercy General. Karen's eyes narrowed. If you live here, why have I never seen you? Because I work 80-hour weeks saving lives? She crossed her arms. I don't believe you. Show me ID. Julian's jaw tightened. I don't have to show you anything. I live here. Then I'm calling the police. For what? Walking into my own building? But Karen was already dialing, her voice dripping with panic. Yes, 911, there's a suspicious man trying to break into my building. Julian stood there, grocery bag in one hand, keys in the other, watching this woman criminalize his existence. And he knew this was about to get worse before it got better. Within 4 minutes, 2 squad cars pulled up. Officer Rodriguez and Officer Kim stepped out, hands on their belts, eyes scanning. Karen rushed outside, practically hyperventilating. Thank God you're here! He's trying to break in! Julian stood on the sidewalk, hands visible, voice steady. Officers, I live here. Unit 4B. This is a misunderstanding. Rodriguez approached cautiously. Sir, do you have ID? I do. Julian slowly reached for his wallet, pulled out his driver's license. The address matched. Rodriguez looked at it, looked at Julian, looked at Karen. Ma'am, his ID says he lives here. Karen's face went red. IDs can be faked. I'm telling you, I've never seen him. Maybe because I work night shifts? Don't talk back to me, Karen snapped. Officer Kim stepped in. Sir, do you have your key fob? Julian held it up. Right here. Can you show us it works? This was humiliating, but Julian knew the game. Comply Stay calm. Stay alive. He walked to the door, swiped the key fob. Beep! Green light. Door unlocked. Kim nodded. Ma'am, he clearly has access. He stole that fob. Check his apartment. I'm telling you, he's lying. Julian's voice dropped, cold. You want them to search my home without a warrant because you don't recognize me? Rodriguez sighed. Sir, if you could just let us verify? No. Julian stood his ground. I've shown you my ID. My key works. I've committed no crime. If you want to enter my apartment, get a warrant. The crowd was gathering now, residents coming outside, phones out. Karen was spiraling. He's being defensive. That proves he's guilty. Officers, do your job. That's when Julian pulled out his phone. I'm calling my lawyer, he said quietly. And Karen, she made the biggest mistake of her life. She grabbed his phone, slapped it out of his hand. It shattered on the concrete. Now you've done it, Karen. The tables were about to turn, and it was going to be brutal. Don't click away. You need to see what happens next. Make sure you're subscribed. Officer Rodriguez's expression changed instantly. Ma'am, did you just destroy his property? Karen stammered. He was being aggressive. I was making a phone call, Julian said, staring at his shattered phone on the ground. Officer Kim picked up the pieces. iPhone 14 Pro, completely destroyed. Sir, do you want to press charges? Julian looked at Karen. Really looked at her. She was shaking now, realizing she'd crossed a line. Yes, Julian said. I want to press charges for destruction of property and filing a false police report.
Karen's face went white. False? I was protecting my building. From what? Julian's voice was ice. A black man coming home from work? Rodriguez turned to Karen. Ma'am, he's verified his residence. You called 911 under false pretenses. That's a crime. I was concerned. Concerned? Julian stepped forward. You've seen me in this building, in the elevator, in the gym. You just didn't see me because I didn't fit your narrative of who belongs here. A woman from the crowd shouted, I've seen him. He lives on my floor. Another voice, he helped my dad when he had chest pains last month. He's a doctor. Karen was surrounded now, phones recording, her panic morphing into rage. I don't care if he's a doctor. He looked suspicious. Officer Kim pulled out her handcuffs. Ma'am, turn around. What? You're under arrest for filing a false police report and destruction of property. Karen's voice became a shriek. You're arresting me? I'm the victim here. No, ma'am, Rodriguez said quietly. You're the perpetrator. The handcuffs clicked. Karen thrashed, screamed, demanded supervisors, threatened lawsuits. But the crowd, they erupted in applause. And Julian? He just stood there, vindicated, as the woman who tried to criminalize him was escorted to a squad car. Justice, finally. The video went viral within hours. Multiple angles, crystal clear audio, Karen screaming, Julian calmly showing his ID. The moment she slapped the phone, her arrest. Hashtag Karen gets arrested trended for 3 days straight. But the story didn't end there, because people started digging. Turns out, Karen had a history. A Reddit thread popped up, the Wellington Karen compilation. Resident after resident came forward with stories, called cops on a black delivery driver who was dropping off her own package, reported a Hispanic maintenance worker as trespassing. He worked there for 15 years. Filed noise complaints against the only Asian family in the building. They were never home during the alleged times. Blocked a black woman from using the pool, claiming she didn't look like a resident. The evidence piled up. Screenshots, Ring camera footage, police reports. Karen wasn't just a busybody. She was a serial racial profiler. Local news picked it up, then national. CNN, NBC, The Washington Post. Georgetown Karen arrested after calling the cops on a black doctor. The building management released a statement. We are reviewing the incident and taking appropriate action. Translation: Karen was evicted within 30 days. Her real estate license? Under investigation. Her social media? Deleted, but not before screenshots immortalized her worst takes. And Julian? He gave one interview, just one, on a local morning show. The host asked, "How did it feel to be treated like a criminal in your own home?" Julian was quiet for a moment. "Exhausting," he finally said. "I save lives for a living. I've held beating hearts in my hands. I've told families their loved ones will survive, and yet I can't walk into my own building without being seen as a threat." He looked directly into the camera. This happens every day to people who don't have lawyers, who don't have witnesses, who don't survive the encounter. I'm lucky, but how many others aren't? The interview clip got 12 million views. Hospitals across the country started bias training programs. The Wellington implemented new policies. Residents could no longer call police on other verified residents without evidence of actual criminal activity. And Karen? She became the face of a reckoning. A cautionary tale. A meme. A reminder that weaponizing the police has consequences. 6 months later, Julian was still at the Wellington, still saving lives, still coming home exhausted. But something had changed. Residents said hello now, smiled, held the elevator. One morning, an older white woman stopped him in the lobby. "Dr. Webb, I wanted to apologize. I saw what happened, and I realized I've been complicit. I've seen things and said nothing. That ends now." Julian nodded. "Thank you. That means something." She squeezed his hand and walked away. Later that week, Julian received a letter from the American Medical Association. They were awarding him the Humanitarian Award, not just for his surgical work, but for using his platform to advocate for racial justice and dignity. He hung the plaque in his living room, right next to a framed photo of that night, the crowd, the arrest, the moment everything changed. His younger brother visited, saw the photo. "Why keep it?" Julian smiled. "Because I don't ever want to forget. This world will try to make you small, try to make you apologize for existing. But we don't bend. We don't break." He looked at his brother. "We belong here, in every space. And anyone who has a problem with that, that's their problem, not ours." His brother grinned. "Preach." And somewhere in 1,000 apartments, 1,000 lobbies, people were learning that bias has a cost, that silence is complicity, and that demanding respect isn't aggression, it's dignity.